Round 1. Find out next as the Major Arena Soccer League presents the Florida Tropics as they host the Orlando SeaWolves. Good evening, everyone. I'm Brian Ackley. Welcome into the RP Funding Center here in Lakeland, Florida for tonight's MASL South Central Division showdown between the Tropics and the first-year Orlando SeaWolves, a rivalry that certainly is geographic in nature and will take shape very quickly, we're sure, on the floor here tonight in Lakeland. As you can see from the South Central standings, the Tropics and SeaWolves are looking up at the Milwaukee Wave, who have already established their dominance in the South Central, undefeated in 3 starts. There are only 2 playoff spots available in the division. Milwaukee certainly earmarked probably for 1. So these 2 teams, Florida, Orlando, along with St. Louis and Kansas City, certainly will battle all for that second and final playoff spot, which makes tonight's game all that much more important. For Orlando, some names to watch. You can start with Jonathan Mendoza. He had the hat trick last week in a 12-7 win over the Mississauga Metro Stars. A very impressive performance overall, not only for Mendoza, but for the SeaWolves as they recorded their first ever win in the Major Arena Soccer League. For the Tropics, Guilherme dos Santos has continued to be a star, moved up to the forward line this season. He is 3rd in the MASL in goals scored with 7, and look for his big shot tonight to play a factor in this one. So we don't know what to expect other than probably a pretty intense game, probably a lot of goals, and a lot of fun as we get this rivalry kicked off. It's Major Arena Soccer League action, the SeaWolves and Tropics, coming up in just a moment. Just about ready for kickoff here in Lakeland, Florida. As we said, Orlando about 45 minutes to the east of the Swan City. Tampa Bay about 45 minutes to the west, as Gordy Gerson will get ready to kick things off for the first-year expansion team, Orlando SeaWolves. New in the MASL, of course, the Tropics in their 3rd season. Glad to be joined again tonight by Chris Economides. And Chris, I've been looking forward to this game for a while.
Yes, we have, Brian. Like you said, they're only 45 minutes apart, and we hope to make it a lot closer as the years go on. I know that there's a segment of Orlando fans here tonight, and hopefully we'll have some Tropic fans on our trips into Orlando. It should be a fun game tonight. It should be a fun atmosphere.
Yeah, I think it will be, and this will become a rivalry for sure, both on and off the field, and we'll see how it all plays out. Max Toulouse with the early steal for the Tropics. Max going to be playing more back on defense tonight, because Lucas Teixeira is out of the lineup with a hip flexor problem. Here comes Lucas Monaleras towards the center of the field, trying to get it down low to Freddie Mugin, couldn't do it. Toulouse will step up and challenge Thiago Freitas, but the SeaWolves will clear the zone right to Guilherme now. Guilherme can't control it. That's Gerson, and Anthony Arico comes back to make the brief takeaway. Arico being watched by Freitas, who came over from the Harrisburg Heat in a trade just last week, so his first action for the SeaWolves. Here's a ball up to Toulouse. Toulouse tries to split the defense. Directs a little traffic. The Tropics will change here on the fly as Rafael Alves back on the floor. He's had a little bit of a toe issue here early in the season, but back in the lineup here tonight. Victor Pereira's with it at the center circle. Out there with Joanne Laidley This is J.P. Reyes, who did such a nice job on Ian Bennett last week of the wave. Pereiras will drill it down to Laidley now. Enzo Marangoni out there as well as a second forward. Reyes with it at the center circle, over to Pereiras in his familiar wing spot. Down low to Laidley. Laidley being watched by Edwin Rojas. There's a shot by Pereiras, and that goes high and out of play.
Looking forward to the return of Ricardo Dieguez tonight, Brian. We're slowly getting the pieces of the puzzle back. I don't know what percentage Ricardo's going to be at, but him at 50% is better than a lot at 100%.
Yep, so. You're right about that. Dieguez, the leading goal scorer for Florida a year ago. He and Freddie Mugin both missed the Tropics' first 2 games, and that was 50 goals out of the lineup, out of the 141 that Florida scored last season. Here's Toulouse with a takeaway towards the middle of the field. Toulouse with a shot, good block in there by Mendoza. And Mendoza, I think, is hurt.
I don't see what happened, Brian.
Yeah, I didn't either. May have just taken it in a bad spot, or it got the wind. I mean, Toulouse had a good crack on it. We'll take a look on replay and see if we can see where Mendoza may have gotten shaken up. Yeah, just took maybe an awkward fall, and we'll see what happens. Would be a difficult loss for Orlando here early. He had the hat trick, as we mentioned, in the Open against Mississauga just last Saturday. But yeah, Dieguez back in the lineup. He is actually on the floor right now for what is his first shift of the game. He won't take a regular shift, kind of like every other shift, if you will, every third shift. So he will play a fair amount, but won't be quite, as you mentioned, Chris, at full speed or at least at 100% in terms of playing time. But he practiced very intensely this week, was at the Tropics practice Tuesday night here at the arena, and it was perhaps as intense a practice as I've ever seen the Tropics have. They were here for 3.5 hours that night, did a very spirited scrimmage, a long video session, worked a lot on some offensive drills. One of the things Clay Roberts really would like to see his team improve on is recognizing options when they get into the offensive zone, or as they come into the offensive zone from the midfield area.
Now, why is this Orlando ball? I don't understand.
Well,
was it a foul on that?
Yeah, maybe. That's a good question. Although probably even if it was Florida ball, they would just tap it back to Orlando because it was an injury as a sportsmanship thing. But you're right. I'm not sure why exactly St. Louis will.
You're right.
Well, that's what they're going to do. Yeah.
Okay.
So
we had a shot at the top of the arc, and then we get it back at our own goal line. Okay.
Yeah. Well, all's fair in love and war and rivalries, right?
No, but for those that don't know, Ricardo had a hernia operation.
Yep.
It was a lingering injury from the PDL season.
Right.
It just lingered on for 3 or 4 months, and finally was diagnosed and had the surgery done about 3-4 weeks ago. And now he's finally back in the lineup. But,
yeah, it was kind of one of those weird things. It kind of got a little better, then would get a little worse and a little better, and they finally figured it all out, and he went under the knife earlier this month. They were thinking maybe the first road trip in January for his return, but he's here tonight, so good news for Florida. Steal by Tyler Turner, a 22-year-old, really good-looking young player for the SeaWolves. Here's Guillerme, long shot, and Heiner House makes the save. House played last year with Cedar Rapids, was an all-rookie team selection in the MASL.
Yeah, this is not a I think I've said this in the past. This is not a stereotypical expansion team. They got a lot of players, that played in Cedar Rapids last year, and they've done a great job in signing some quality players. So this is not, not that they're the Vegas Golden Knights or anything, but
we don't think.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, but
yeah.
but they're not. They're not a 2-24 or 2-22 team.
No, you're exactly right. They have talent, and they will grow together and improve together, and I think prove eventually to be a tough out in the South Central. And the way the schedule breaks between these two, as we said, there's 6 regular season games scheduled. The first 3 are here in Lakeland, all between now and the end of January. All 3 games in Orlando at the Silver Spurs Arena come in March. So that'll be interesting to see how it plays out by the time we get to that point of the season, how much Orlando has improved and how much the Tropics have improved. But all those games will probably have playoff implications, as Manoleros was taken down by the big defender Luke Bowden, who is kind of the centerpiece, if you will, of the outdoor players that the SeaWolves have brought in, former star with Orlando City, both in the USL and MLS. Here's Gerson, chance for a break, and Monolaris gets ahead in the way. Gerson tries to play it into the zone, and J.P. Reyes able to calmly get it back to Hugo Silva. Gordy Gerson, one of the best scorers in the MASL period. And the Tropics will do themselves well to know where he is on the floor at all times. Here's Arico, gets it into Lately. Lately turns, fires off the board, in front, still loose. Arico had another chance, but couldn't get a foot on it. Best opportunity so far here in the opening 5 minutes for either team. And the Tropics, I believe, will get a restart from the top of the penalty arc here.
A nice play by Joanne Lately to play the ball off the boards. Come right on front, loose ball, and
just too much traffic there for Anthony to get to.
Couldn't quite get to it.
Good effort. So we'll see if Guilherme may do the honors here eventually. He scored on a restart at the top of the arc in the first quarter last week. No, it's Pereira's right on goal. And
hell of a save there.
Yep. Good save by House. So Heiner with a big stop here early. Last week, Victor stepped over that ball, and Guilherme stepped in and just about took the whole net down with his bomb. This is Osvaldo Rojas with it for the SeaWolves over on the far side, and the whistle on a foul.
Yeah, and talking to head coach Clay Roberts after the game last week, he was not a happy camper. He said that it's going to be a structured week this week, and as you mentioned, the practice Tuesday was 3.5 hours, and I think that the players are a lot. Focus is a good word, but a lot more keen and intent tonight.
Here's Pereiras, gets it out to Freddie Mugin at the center line. Didn't really have a chance to make a run, and he needed to get to the bench anyway. Here's a chance in front. Rojas shot, and Hugo Silva comes up big, robbing Osvaldo Rojas. Best chance of the game for the SeaWolves. Here's a 2-on-1. Pereiras over to Dieguez, shot, and he just gets it over the top of the goal.
That's the beauty of the indoor game. You have a save, and then here's the Orlando shot. A great save by Hugo Silva there, coming out, just being large.
Yeah, that was perfect. He just cut down the angle, and Rojas didn't really have much to shoot at, and probably if he had to do it over again, might have gone to a little bit of a chip, but Silva right there to make a big stop. So both House and Silva have been large here early on. Here's Dieguez, can't get that inlet pass. If there's anyone happier to see Dieguez back on the floor than Victor Pereiras, don't know who it might be. Those two have played together now 8 seasons, both outdoor and indoor. They started together down in Texas, and the last 3 years, of course, here in Lakeland. Good defensive effort by Jose Luis Berche as he heads to the bench to deny Gordy Gerson an opportunity. Silva, a long outlet. Turner will track it down, being watched by J.P. Reyes. Now here's Gerson with a shot, and he'll send that halfway to Alturas. So some space in the offensive end here early for the SeaWolves, but still no score after Orlando burned a 12 spot up on Mississauga last Saturday. Of course, the Tropics never really did get their offense cranked up against a really good Milwaukee team, Chris. We were talking a little bit off the air before the game. You and I both think they might be the team to beat, not only certainly in the division, but in the entire league this year. Yeah,
just being perfect. I mean, this is just my opinion. I think, I think we're all playing for second place in this division, to be perfectly honest with you. Not that I'm conceding anything, but they're just a solid team, both on and off the field, and this could be their year. I think Baltimore, got a couple of years on them and stuff. But Milwaukee just seems from top to bottom rock solid.
Yeah, they're very, very good. We'll get a chance to see them again one more time in Lakeland, and the Tropics will play twice up in Milwaukee as Turner tracks it down, being watched by Reyes.
Nice crowd tonight, Brian, out there.
For a holiday night, with the college football playoffs going on. Yeah, very nice attendance tonight. Well, we thought these two teams would certainly spark some interest, and looks like that has been the case, and they will renew this rivalry in just a couple weeks as Arico misses high and wide.
Yeah, we're off to Kansas City and St. Louis next weekend, and then come back here to face Orlando the following weekend.
Yep.
So
every game on the Tropics schedule from here on out is a divisional game, save for a visit by those Baltimore Blast on April the 6th. So virtually every game has playoff implications, even though it seems a little silly this early in the season to talk about the postseason possibilities. But I think before all is said and done, you're looking at a 4-team Donnybrook for that second playoff spot. Kansas City is the best one-team win in the league as far as I'm concerned. And if you're a Comets fan, don't panic. You're going to win your share of games. Margoni with some pressure, but
well, he's all over the field out there.
He's got great speed. He's
like
the
a little
fastest
jitterbug out there.
He's the fastest player on either side, I promise you. And as he learns this game and uses that speed
to his, fun to watch.
To his advantage, he's going to be a good player. Here's Richard Schmerman with a long shot knocked out of there nicely by Berche. Marangoni trying to track it down and does, but then loses it. And Bowden will control for the SeaWolves. This is Mario Alvarez with it, as Laidley will walk up to challenge just a bit. Ahead to Bowden. He's got that good size and uses that big left foot shot. Here's a chance, a shot, good leg save by Silva as he robs Luis Mota. So Silva again comes up big. Laidley now with it out at the midfield area being watched.
That was a heck of a save, Brian.
That was by Mota. Good leg save by Silva. He has played well. He's been everything the Tropics had hoped for this year, and he has very much kept the Tropics in games that they haven't won and been a star in the games they have. Bad break for the Tropics there.
Luke Bowden, yeah, he was a heck of a player for Orlando City, both in the USL and the MLS. I remember him when I was involved with the USL. He was one of the top defenders in the league and always a marquee player defensively.
So we've got a break in the action. The goaltenders have come up big. Hugo Silva for the Tropics, Heiner House for the SeaWolves. Back in just a moment.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now, and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit? Scoreless here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland. Very happy that you've decided to spend a few minutes with us here tonight. Brian Ackley along with Chris Economidis. Both teams have had good opportunities early on. And as we said, both Silva and House have been large. Here's a chance in front, back post, and unable to control it is Osvaldo Rojas. There's a couple of Rojases on the SeaWolves roster as Freddie Mugin is toppled, and there's a whistle and a foul. Quick restart for Pereiras. Edwin Rojas wears 21 for the SeaWolves, and Osvaldo Rojas, no relation, wears number 77. Here's a long ball through to Guilherme. Guilherme with 7 goals on the season. Alves with a nice little back pass to J.P. Reyes with a shot, and House had that one read well. Nice effort, though, by Alves. Alves thought about the long shot. Gerson stepped in front. Alves will control to Reyes and back to Silva now as the Tropics will reset. Pressure by Thiago.
Nice play.
Here's Pereiras, a 3-on-1. Pereiras, right side, Guilherme. Back to Pereiras, in front, shot, goal! Well, you think maybe the guy who's the 3rd leading scorer in the league would pull the trigger, but absolutely an unselfish play by Guilherme as he feeds it back to Victor Pereiras right in front of the Orlando goal, and he slots it far post. The Tropics lead at 1-0.
Well, Victor started to play and finished the play, Brian. Made a great move at midfield to get past the defender, created a 3-on-1 there. Nice pass to Guy on his opposite foot there, right-footed back to him, and Victor had essentially a wide open net. He just had to put it in the corner. Great play, great finish.
Yeah, and that's the options that Clay Roberts was talking about. He wants his players to make better decisions, see what's happening on the floor, and make those plays. And that is a good example right there of assessing all the options and deciding the right course of action. And because of it, the Tropics lead at 1-0. Here's Laidley. Laidley. He's got Marangoni with him. Marangoni being challenged in the corner by Rojas, Edwin Rojas, and the SeaWolves will come out of it. Moda with it now. On the side to Lewis Neal, veteran player, another
Orlando City player,
Orlando City Lion. They've got about 4 of the former Lions, and they all are important contributors, and will be important contributors as they learn the indoor game.
Well, going back to my Rochester days, Brian, I remember that the nucleus of our team was from indoor players, the Rhinos. But there was just as it is an acclimation period from outdoor to indoor, there's an acclimation period the other way also. It takes some time for those players to get acclimated. Once they do, watch out.
Mujin with a challenge. He'll control possession, gets it over to Guilherme now. Nope, thought he was going to lay it off to Guilherme. Instead tried to take the shot, wanted the foul, didn't get it. Guilherme with pressure. Now it's Moda for Orlando. Long ball through to Gerson, but it was too far, and Silva able to cover up easily. Now the outlet to Toulouse. Toulouse loses it to Gerson, and Gerson was bothered just enough by Toulouse, who was able to recover to deny the scoring chance. Here's a long ball through to Arico. Arico tried to get it in front, and an equally good defensive play by Alvarez there. Had Marangoni making a run down the left side, Diegas as well, and good play by Moda to get back in there, or rather Alvarez to get back in there and break it up.
There's a shot, Brian, a foul on Anthony Arico.
Yeah, but I don't think, does he have a penalty this year? I don't know
if
he does. He? Okay.
He got one last week.
All right. Even in
my sickly state,
you remember that.
Yeah.
I've tried to kind of wash the memories of that one away. That was.
Yeah, I didn't miss much from what I heard.
You did not. Tough second half in particular. I mean, there's actually a lot of good you can take away from that game. For a lot of it, they went toe-to-toe with Milwaukee, but just a couple of lapses, and that was all it took. And then the second half really was more Milwaukee. The Tropics just never got in rhythm, and basically that whole second half.
Well, that's what a good team does to you.
Yep. All this with it being watched a little bit in there by Alvarez. Silva will look deep and drive it into the left corner in a bid to find Laidley, and that takes an unfortunate bounce off the dasher board, so Orlando will get a restart in their own zone. So Victor Pereiras gets the Tropics going here tonight. For Victor on this young MASL season, his third. Here's Laidley. Laidley being watched by Gerson. Shot just missed short side. Laidley with it again, being watched by Schmerman. Schmerman in there. Wasn't Gerson defending, it was Schmerman. They both have the platinum look going. Schmerman, though, about 6 or 8 inches taller than.
I was going to say, I mean, one's about a foot taller than the other one.
His offensive counterpart. Little chippy play over there in front of the Orlando bench. Here's that shot by Laidley, and boy, that just kissed off the outside of the woodwork. He did not miss by much. I was kind of interested to see how Manny Ortiz and Brian Miller, the officials tonight, would call things, knowing that this had the chance perhaps to become a bit chippy, being a budding rivalry. Hasn't really been much untoward so far here in the first 15 minutes. Either way, here's a chance deep into the Orlando zone. This is Rojas with it. Rojas in front, and Mendoza couldn't control. Mendoza and Schmerman collides with Arico, and Schmerman will be called for the foul. I don't know how two different Orlando players got that deep in behind.
I was just going to say that, Brian. He had
Florida
two guys
defense
wide open in front of our own goal there. I don't know how that happened.
Yeah, I don't know if there was a line change going on or they just weren't quite paying attention. But, yeah, that was unusual.
One's bad enough.
Yeah, right.
Two.
Exactly. Pressure again by the SeaWolves. Pereiras in there, Monaleras to take it away. Then J.P. Reyes loses it. Here's good defensive recovery by Reyes. And Orlando has possession. Ball down to Marangoni. Marangoni up the board. Shot, and he just misses far post. There's a good strike by Marangoni. He's going to get one sooner rather than later. Rojas being watched by Alves. Mugin will step up to challenge, but Orlando will keep possession here. Cruz to Thiago. Thiago, the leading scorer for the Harrisburg Heat in each of the Heat's last two seasons. Nice play by Freddie Mugin to keep it alive. Here's Marangoni, cannot get by the Orlando defense. Freitas makes the play. Thiago, if you will. Ball down to Gerson in the corner, tries to bang it off the dasher boards, and Silva will pick it out of the air, no problem. Silva will look ahead, and here's Ricardo Diegues.
Nice turn there.
Just a little hold up by Moda, and Diegues not quite able to get by. Diegues, there's a hold. My goodness, he had to. Yeah, they finally did call it.
You think?
They were going to call it. I think they were going to let it go, but the continuation didn't really favor the Tropics there, and Brian Miller blows the whistle. Yeah, that. If I can see it and you can see it, then yeah, you know that the officials are going to catch it.
He had a handful there.
Here's Guilherme from the yellow line. Long shot.
Rebound.
Rebound. Oh, great save by
wow.
House as Diegues makes a bid for his first of the year. Toulouse with a long shot, and that goes out of play.
What a save that was.
Boy, both goaltenders have really played well here in the first 15 minutes.
Yeah, that was a super save on Ricardo Diegues.
Yeah, he's not denied very often from that in that close. House with a long ball looking for Turner. Now it'll be Laidley with some pressure on the far side. Kyle Ruiz, number 8 out there for the Tropics. One of his first shifts, comes out of there with it. Still with the ball, he's got Marangoni up front with him. Finally gets it to Marangoni. Marangoni with his back to the goal and loses it to Turner. Tropics were kind of on a line change there and really didn't have much help when Ruiz took it away at midfield. Here's another long ball and a run through the box. A shot, save on Bowden. Bowden keeps possession, but boy, I'm telling you, the SeaWolves have found themselves in scoring positions with space to operate in front of the Tropics net more often than I would have guessed here in the first quarter. Here's Bowden, little back heel, tried to hit Mendoza, but it rolls to Silva, and the Tropics look like they will survive here. One less chance, Toulouse with 5 seconds to go, but Toulouse either not aware of the time or will just play it out as the Tropics will settle for a 1-0 lead, the only goal of the quarter, and it belongs to Victor Pereiras on the nice setup by Guilherme. The Florida Tropics won, the Orlando SeaWolves nothing. Major Arena Soccer League returns in just a moment.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
Sometimes
1-0 Florida, pretty entertaining 15 minutes of soccer. Hugo Silva and Heiner House with some big stops. If you're not familiar with the indoor game and tuning us in just to wonder what we're all about, it's a lot of fun. There are 4 15-minute quarters. There's no stoppage time added. It's a lot like hockey. There are 5 fielders and 1 goalkeeper. There are power plays, and you'll know that by when the referee lifts his blue card. You can change on the fly, just like hockey. A lot of basketball strategy, actually, as well, as you often see give and goes, pick and rolls, things like that. Victor Pereras with his 3rd of the year, looking on. 5 points now on the season for Victor. It was the team's 4th leading scorer last year. As we are underway here in the second quarter. Good to have you from Lakeland, Florida. The Swan City. The Swan City Syndicate out in force tonight, as is the official cheering club of the Orlando SeaWolves, the Wolfpack. I think they even had a chartered bus excursion over here tonight. So, kind of what
where are they sitting, Brian?
There was about 50 of them coming. I'm not sure what section they actually ended up in, but just talking to some of the. Here's Arrico in front, shot and a goal! Anthony Arrico, just seconds into the quarter, set up in front, and the Tropics have a 2-0 lead.
Well, there I go again, Brian. I started talking, and we scored a goal, so.
We know that's the formula, yeah.
I'm telling you, okay.
Just 26 seconds in, and Arrico.
Oh, I like the fire truck, wow. Andrew Ross, never stops with his bag of tricks here. Andrew and Hunter.
They had it here last game, but they didn't have much of a chance to use it. So it's nice to see it here tonight.
All right. There we go.
So Arrico just 26 seconds into the second quarter. And out of nowhere, Florida with a quick 2-0 lead now. Long ball into the Tropics end of the field. Rojas with it, being challenged by Pereras, now J.P. Reyes. He'll clear it out to midfield while Schmerman has it. Schmerman will lay it back to House. Over to Schmerman. Pressure by Marangoni. Here's a chance on the far boards, and Mota loses it to Pereras. Ahead to Laidley, who's got some speed. Laidley shot, and he just misses far post. Good idea by Laidley. As Marangoni and Schmerman collide, and Marangoni will be whistled for the foul.
Dwayne Laidley, after missing all of last year, you can slowly start to see his confidence coming back to him. He's making more runs, taking some more shots. It's good to see him making a nice comeback.
Chance for Gerson, and Silva again equal to the task. And again, opportunities for Orlando with no pressure in the Florida zone, but Silva comes up big again. Good strike, too. He got plenty on it. It'll be a corner kick restart here for Orlando. So a dangerous restart spot. See if it's Schmerman that is, and that's deflected out of play, and we'll do it all again here. I think it was Pereras who slid in there and got a foot on it to knock it over the boards.
I tell you, Silva plays the angle so well, Brian. He comes out, he said he's got a big body to begin with, but he plays him so well that he just cuts off most of the net.
Another restart chance here for the SeaWolves. Lifted across to Gerson with a shot blocked by Reyes, and they're going to call Reyes, I think, for a handball. That was inadvertent, but a foul nonetheless. Good to see Peter Sliwa here tonight, the Tropics goaltender from each of the last couple of seasons. Here's the play, and you can see clearly it hits off JP's arm as he was making the block. So Schmerman, who's got a big shot, will perhaps tee it up here. Schmerman lays it off to Gerson, and he misses badly again. So the Tropics dodge a couple of bullets there and will hang on to their 2-0 lead. Sliwa started the season in the SeaWolves' first ever game at home against St. Louis and got hurt early in the second quarter. For Orlando coach Tom Traxler, relying on Sliwa quite a bit for his indoor knowledge. Trax, of course, a longtime Orlando guy. Here's Guillerme. Guillerme tries to get it to Pereiras off the boards in front, and nobody there for Florida. Traxler, terrific high school coach at Winter Garden for many, many years, and a broadcaster for the Orlando City Lions. Learning the indoor game along with a lot of his players. He's had a pretty good mentor. Keith Tozier has spent some time helping the SeaWolves get acclimated to the indoor game. There probably isn't a better teacher of the game than Tozier.
My first coach in Kansas City.
Is that right?
He was, yeah. Keith's a good man.
Wow.
Great coach, national futsal team coach.
Yep, over 700 career arena wins. And
they don't get much better than Keith.
Nope, and he has been kind of a consultant, if you will, for the SeaWolves, more in the preseason. I think he's overseas right now with a futsal team in a tournament in Portugal, if I saw correctly online. But
well, I know he's been part of that supposed indoor futsal league, but
yeah, that's where his attention has been over the last few seasons after, I think he was 21 years as coach of the Milwaukee Wave. Here's another chance for the SeaWolves. Mendoza, but good recovery by Lucas Monaleros, who goes heavy into the boards, a whistle and a foul.
I dare say, Brian, that by the time we play our 5th or 6th time against these guys,
yeah,
something is going to materialize.
Yeah, it will. It will.
I keep using all these hockey analogies. I don't know if bench clearing brawl is a.
Well, we don't want to see that.
No, I'm not saying, but I'm
yeah,
just, you know, something's going to trigger this thing.
Nice little play by Monaleros to get it to Toulouse back on the defense tonight for the Tropics. So trying to kind of learn on the fly. Not that he hasn't played defense before in the indoor game, but mainly a forward.
Nice
Here's
play.
a nice steal by Ruiz. Ruiz
Finish
comes in.
it.
Oh, top of the shot.
Oh,
Goal! Mujin finishes it up. Carlos Ruiz with a pretty assist. And
Great
Florida
play.
leads it 3-0.
The kid's learning the game, Brian. He's learning the game. He stepped up nicely there, anticipated the pass, stole it, and Freddie had to tap in. Great play by Ruiz.
Yeah, very unselfish.
Very unselfish.
And Ruiz is a guy you can see every game getting a little better and a little better. He played for Clay Roberts at Southeastern, and interesting, Clay had a long sit-down with Caio before that big practice Tuesday night, just a one-on-one session, and basically told him, trust your skills, let me teach you the indoor game, you're going to be fine. And that pays off in spades here tonight as Ruiz with the intercept and the pretty assist for a 3-0 Florida lead. Quickly back come the SeaWolves. Bowden with it. Bowden wants to go to the left if he can. Now here's a shot deflected in front. Rebound off the post. Great opportunity for the SeaWolves here. Here's Guillerme. Guillerme tried to get it ahead to Arico, and it's deflected out of play.
The last thing you want to see after you score a goal was the other team to score a goal, come right back and score a goal. So once again, they had numbers there. You got to just focus on you know, defensive structure right now so that they're not getting that goal right back.
Cruz sails it over the end boards, so the Tropics will get a goal kick here. So Caio Ruiz makes his presence felt, and Freddie Mujin gets his third of the season. For Ruiz, that's actually his second assist now this year. Long ball down to Diegues and intercepted in there by Luis Moda. Chance now here for the SeaWolves again. Moda with it. Good recovery, though, by Guillerme. Guillerme played defense last year for the Tropics, but he is a natural forward. Plays that position down in Brazil in the pro futsal leagues. And
I can guarantee he's not going back
yeah,
there.
I hope not. This is Alvarez with it, being watched by Berche.
Nice play.
Berche gets it to Arico. Up now to Diegas. Diegas has it taken away. A chance here for Orlando as Bowden has it. Bowden with a setup in front, and Moda can't get it through. Still loose in there. And finally, the Tropics will come out of there with it. Diegas making a run. Good stretch to get control, and then loses it to Eduardo Cruz. So we said Diegas taking kind of an every third shift tonight, and fairly short shifts as well, as he works himself back from hernia surgery. Here's Marangoni with it. Marangoni, nice play at midfield. Gets it over to Mugin. Mugin in front. Marangoni can't quite get there. Still loose. Here's Pereira with a chance in house. Right there to snuff that one out. Boy, there have been chances and odd man chances, a lot of them, both ways. This is a little bit of old school indoor soccer tonight.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nope, it's been entertaining.
Yeah.
That's the old give up one to score two in the old days of the MISL.
The old NPSL, MISL.
Here's a chance in front, and a redirect opportunity by Mendoza just misses.
Another defensive mistake there, Brian. Alves left the guy wide open in front of the goal there. All he had to do was tap it in. We're lucky that he didn't get his foot on it.
Yeah, Orlando's created a ton of chances, and here's a 4-on-2 shot, and not a good decision by Thiago there. Still a 4-on-2, and finally Guilherme gets back in. Laidley comes out of there with it. He's tripped up, and no blue card, but a foul against Orlando. But yeah,
they had a 4-on-2 for about 10 seconds there.
Yeah, they have had numbers many times here. Both some bad luck and some great play by Hugo Silva have kept them off the score sheet. But, you know, if you're Tom Trexler, I'm not sure if you have a timeout here, what you'd tell them to do a lot different. They have been executing offensively with everything but putting it in the back of the net. Toulouse takes it away and gets it back to Silva, who gets it out of trouble. Now here's Laidley. Laidley with it. He's got Guilherme with him. Guilherme to Toulouse.
No.
Toulouse across to Guilherme to go!
What the hell do I know, Brian?
Great pass by Max Toulouse. He was at a tough angle, but he laid it right on the foot of Guilherme. Back post and the easy redirect, and the Tropics lead it 4-0.
No,
Beautiful pass.
I thought he was going to go to Guy in first place.
Yeah, I did too, but Toulouse was the choice, and Max makes an absolutely thread-the-needle pass through the box, and Guilherme has the easy goal. And the Tropics now lead it 4-0 for Guilherme. That's his 8th of the season. And really the difference so far is the Tropics have been able to finish some of their chances, and the SeaWolves just haven't. It's not like they've been dominated or that outplayed.
No, it's not a 4-0 score. And well, it is a 4-0 score, but it's not a 4-0 game. And obviously we know from games in the past that this is far from over.
Well, and you know, we've talked on other broadcasts, you and I, Chris, as well, about that's the reason Hugo Silva is here. He has come up big and kept Orlando off the score sheet and let the offense do their thing.
He's been everything we had hoped for so far, Brian, and more.
Cruz will put it in play here for the SeaWolves over to Lewis Neal and to Schmerman, who came over in the offseason from the St. Louis Ambush. Silva will come out and play it, and there'll be a whistle, and I don't know if they're going to call it. Nope, they're going to say it's against Orlando. Had to hold my breath there for a second as Turner and Silva kind of collided, and I didn't know if they were going to call Turner on the challenge or if Silva actually might have been outside the box there, but they will call it against Orlando.
I want to say a quick shout out to my son watching and listening. He's in Saratoga, New York. Alex.
A little chilly up in Saratoga.
Well, you know, just stay sober, Alex, and be a good boy.
There you go. Good advice. Yeah, it's a great place, Saratoga, but only in the summer.
Yeah.
It's not a bad place in the winter, but it's a great place in the summer.
Well, you know, with the racetrack and stuff. But he's got some friends up there, so spending
good for him.
New Year's Eve up there.
Long ball ahead to Diegas. Diegas with a little move on Schmerman, off the boards in front, but nobody making a run. Monaleros came in late, knocked it away. Ruiz will steal it. Ruiz down to Monaleros in the corner. Had Diegas back post for just a minute. Montalera's taken down, a whistle and a foul, and this one I think is going to go against Montalera's. I think after he got it stolen, Montalera's went in two-footed and is going to be penalized here for the Tropics, so Orlando will get a power play opportunity. You can see it taken away and then just a little extra.
What, that's?
Yeah, that's. I think that's the officials just making sure things aren't going to get out of control, to be perfectly honest. And I'm not going to argue with that a great deal, because that was just a little frustration, retaliation poke by Montalera's. And I think you're right. A lot of times that's not necessarily a blue card, but I think maybe tonight it is. So the Tropics will test their 100% penalty efficiency. Here's Gerson, just misses far post. Boy, the Tropics have been fortunate and good. Here's a shot by Neal, and that goes out of play. The Tropics have not allowed a power play goal yet this season. So it's been the Tropics who have been able to convert here tonight. Here's that fourth goal as DeSantos buries it on the pretty pass by Max Toulouse. More Major Arena Soccer League action in just a moment. Tropics 4, Orlando nothing. Not indicative necessarily of the action overall, but the Tropics certainly the beneficiary of being able to finish. A couple other games tonight around the MASL, one of particular interest out in the Midwest as St. Louis and Kansas City will collide. Out west it's Ontario and Turlock, and the El Paso Coyotes and Dallas Sidekicks in the Battle of the Lone Star State. Underway in just a little bit from now, but the Ambush and Comets playing for the third straight time, and one of the early season surprises in the MASL so far, Chris, the St. Louis Ambush out of the gate at 3-2, including 2 in a row over Kansas City.
I'm telling you, it's going to come down to the, to these 4 teams, minus Milwaukee, in my opinion, fighting for that last playoff spot, and St. Louis is much improved.
Here's Toulouse, but can't catch up as it was a little too far ahead of the former San Diego Soccer, and House was able to come out and collect it. But yeah, that's a nice start for St. Louis as they continue to improve under Everton. Nice takeaway by Arico. He's got Max with him ahead of the field. Arico down the left wing. Arico off the boards in front. Oh, and it just misses Toulouse. There to collect the rebound, didn't have an angle and gets it back out to Guilherme. Now to Arico. Silva will just clear it into the Orlando end of the field, and the SeaWolves will regroup here.
Had a 2-on-1 there, could have made the pass over to Toulouse.
Yeah, thought he might, and I think he got just a touch hung up on the boards over there. It looked like the carpet might have come up there for just a half a second and might have slowed him down. Here's into the corner, Gerson with a shot, header on, that's off the crossbar. My goodness, how many chances will Orlando just miss on?
Hopefully quite a few.
My goodness, they have been unlucky when the Tropics haven't been good, and they've been good plenty of times, but the Tropics also the beneficiary of some just bad Orlando luck. Here's Bowden with it. Bowden, he can pull the trigger from distance and does, but Arico steps in front.
What's the old adage, Brian? I'd rather be lucky than good.
Yeah, right. Sandoval out there. Now Thiago with it back to Yoshio Sandoval. Being watched by Toulouse. Kind of alternating between defense and forward tonight along with Guilherme. Power play just down to the final minute, and here comes Arico. He's got a 2-on-1 with
3-on-1.
and now 3-on-1 with Montoleros. Here's Toulouse. Toulouse over the yellow line looking to see what his options are at the top of the arc. Gets it down to Montoleros. Shot!
Oh,
Goal!
what a finish.
Lucas Montoleros and another pretty assist by Max Toulouse. It's 5-0 Tropics.
And I was questioning him slowing down, but he made the absolute right play. And a great finish by Lucas Montoleros there.
Such a veteran player, and he plays with such a kind of a calm and collected style that you almost think the opportunity has passed you by, and really all he was doing was sly like a fox, waiting to set up the play and make the perfect pass to Montoleros at the perfect time. And
are they calling this back?
Well, let's see. Not sure what's going on here.
What happened?
They just announced the goal. Now there may be something against the Tropics in terms of a bench penalty. I really don't know.
There's nobody in the penalty box.
No, there isn't, and the ball is not at the center circle.
Well, there's somebody coming to the penalty box, it looks like.
So maybe they will take this off the board.
I don't understand it.
Yeah, no, I don't know what the call on this is either at all. No idea.
He came out of the box. I mean, unless there's some sort of rule that you can't play the ball out of the box. I don't know.
There's no such. It's not like you can be out of bounds and not be the first guy touching it inbounds in the league. But Freddie Mugin has gone to the box, and apparently the goal is coming down. I don't understand it. Can't tell you why. But instead of 5-0, it's 4-0, and the good crowd here tonight at the RP Funding Center letting the officials know they don't like it.
And we're man down again.
Yeah, I guess there must have been a penalty called before the goal. I really don't know. We'll try and get an explanation at halftime and see. Guilherme taken down hard. And things are starting to get chippy.
Something's got to happen. Trust me. Well, I'm totally befuddled here.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
It was Guilherme and Bowden that went after it, and Bowden got him a little high.
With an elbow.
Yeah, he did. And that's what Manny Ortiz is telling Bowden, but they didn't give him the blue card, which is a bit of a surprise, only because, boy, you get up around the head or you get along the dasher boards, and the officials are usually pretty quick to try and protect players from those kind of
Montoleros got a penalty for just pretending to swipe at somebody, so this is a real elbow. I don't know.
Well, we'll try and find out at halftime exactly what the call was then, but okay, we're being told that Freddie Mugin got a 2-minute penalty for handling. Did not see that, and I'm not sure where that came from because the
handling?
Yeah, it must have been well before the play developed in the Orlando zone. So another power play.
There was no whistle. I mean, Toulouse had the ball up top of the arc for 10 seconds.
Not that I heard, that's for sure. Here's a chance shot and a good save by Silva off the foot of Chiago. Long outlet to Pereiras now. Pereiras tries to get around Chiaga. So they counted the goal, apparently. They restarted from back over by the yellow line. So I got to tell you, I don't understand it, and
so
my
the goal
apologies.
counts?
So I guess it still counts. We're being told it counts. Guilherme, as he can't beat House to the ball as Heiner comes off his line. So apparently 5-0 is the correct score, and I've never, yeah. Well, yeah, now it did change back to 4, so we don't know either. We'll try and figure it out, but yeah, I don't think it counted as a goal. And again, a big save by Silva, and another big save by Silva. Boy, tremendous work by Hugo Silva here in the first half tonight. Yoshio Sandoval with it to Bowden, trying to get that left-footed shot away. Does, and Silva there one more time. Here's Pereiras down to 18 seconds left in the penalty. Boy, that's the weirdest thing I've seen in 3 years, and I'll have to go back and take a look.
I'm being very kind here, Brian. I'm biting my lower lip.
Gerson with a chance, but stopped again in the Florida end, and the power play is over. Mujin is back on the floor.
What are they going to
Gets
call
it ahead
now?
to try to Pereiras, but House able to come out and knock it away. Long shot by Bowden. That deflects out of play.
No, I didn't think that they would count. You never have a restart from over there if you counted the goal.
Here is that flurry by a pretty good goal scorer in Lewis Neal, and twice in a matter of a couple of seconds, and then a third big stop. So a chance, though, here on a corner kick restart, or what will, for all practical purposes, be a corner kick restart for Orlando. To the left of Silva.
I'll go down at halftime, Brian,
Yeah, I was going to see if you would.
I'll try and get some sort of explanation.
Yeah,
as lame as it might be.
Yeah, just out of curiosity, because I just don't know what happened. Here is, and everyone at home's going, "You dummy, you missed it," but sure didn't see it. Here's Gerson, and that never gets through, although Silva comes out and just does keep it in the box. Outlet to Marangoni. Marangoni being watched by Turner. Turner takes it away. House now, as Orlando will settle it and clear the zone. Toulouse steps up. Good pressure to step in front of Osvaldo Rojas, and the Tropics will control it here. Out in the center of the field to Ruiz, who's got room to operate. Ruiz, 4-on-3 here. Marangoni in the corner. Marangoni can't control a bad hop off the dasher boards. And here comes Turner back the other way for Orlando. Turner being watched by Ruiz and Toulouse. Still gets through. Silva with a good short side save. Here comes Toulouse. End-to-end action. 4-on-2 for the Tropics. If they hurry, Toulouse right side. Gets it to Marangoni. Shot and a save by House. Marangoni on the rebound, and he'll get it back out to Max. As the Tropics need a change here. They were going to change, but had the distinct numbers advantage and tried to take the opportunity to get a real fifth goal. But
that was a real fifth goal.
Yeah. Sure seemed like it. Here's Diegas being watched by Schmerman. Diegas will send it back to Berche. And now over to J.P. Reyes. Just over 2 minutes to go. Still a 4-0 lead for the Tropics. 5-0 sounds a lot better if you're a Florida fan. 4-0 will have to do if you're a SeaWolves supporter here tonight. Reyes with it.
Well, if there's anything like a first star, he has the ball right now.
Yeah, no question about that. Long ball looking for Diegas. Diegas can't come out of there with it. SeaWolves do. Rojas being watched by Enrico. Reyes and Rojas now. Intercepted shot on Silva and an easy save off the foot of Mendoza, who comes in with that 3-goal game last week against Mississauga. Long outlet to Mujin, but never got there. Alvarez back to Schmerman, being watched by Marangoni. Now across the field to Cruz. Enrico picks him up. Now Mujin with pressure on Schmerman. Tropics trying to make a bid here for another goal. Here's Enrico, and he was hoping Mujin could make a run, and Freddie just a little late getting there. Shot right on, and Silva again short side off the foot of Rojas. That was one of his easier ones tonight. He's got to have a dozen or 15 saves in this first half alone.
Most of them have been quality chances.
And they have, absolutely. Now Silva with it. Trouble here perhaps for the Tropics. Good recovery though by Pereiras. Leaves it for Alvis. Silva will bring it up over his yellow line, leave it to Pereiras. Tropics looking deep now for Toulouse. Toulouse in the corner, knocked out of there nicely by Gerson. Silva with Monolaris. Nice little spin move there. 15 seconds to go. Toulouse with it. Toulouse, nice ball over to Marangoni. Marangoni in front. Here's Mujin. Mujin with a shot.
Oh, across the line.
It sure looked like it.
Across the line,
It sure looked like it there, and they call it a goal.
Yeah, okay. Let's call this one back, too.
Absolutely. Gordy Gerson is really upset. He does not think it went in, but Mujin with a brilliant little back heel. Manny Ortiz is going to say this is where it went, and I think the Tropics have a 5-0 lead. Yeah, absolutely.
Totally across the line.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Good replay by our folks here at Gemstone Media. We appreciate their great work, and
there you go.
You could see it disappear totally on that first replay. Gordy, you're not going to win that one, my friends. So with just 5.8 seconds to go, the Tropics get their 5th goal, and it's legit. And we're told now that the reason the play was blown dead on what we thought was Florida's 5th goal is the Tropics were assessed a penalty for too many men on the field. So apparently during that offensive setup and goal, they had an extra player on the field behind the play because he certainly wasn't part of the play. As we finish the first 30 minutes here in Lakeland tonight, and the Tropics will feel very good about going to intermission with a 5-0 lead. And I don't care what Gordy Gerson might say, or Peter Sliwa, he is upset walking off the floor. Tom Traxler going to have a discussion with Brian Miller, but that ball was over the line and in the goal, and you'll see it here disappear right inside the post, right there.
No doubt.
So we are at halftime, back in a moment.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work towards getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
It's the Florida Tropics 5, the Orlando SeaWolves 0. Thanks in large part to Hugo Silva. We'll talk a little bit about him later on here at the intermission. But overall, the Tropics, while they have a 5-0 lead, Orlando was not 5-0 bad in that first 30 minutes. So if you're Tom Traxler down in the locker room, basically, I think offensively for sure, you're saying, hey, we're doing everything right. We just run into a really hot goaltender tonight, and we've been a bit unlucky, a couple of posts and a crossbar as well. but the Tropics have been able to finish. Victor Pereira's got the Tropics on the scoreboard first in the first quarter. A very pretty pass on the look in front of the top of the box from Guillerme, picking up the assist, and Victor Pereira's had his third of the season. And then Freddie Mugin on the nice play by Kyle Ruiz with his intercept near midfield. It set up an odd man situation for the Tropics, and they were able to convert to make it 3-0 at that point. And then Guillerme dos Santos on a very pretty setup by Max Talut. Guillerme gets his 8th of the season, and basically a redirect. Max Talut threads the needle on a very nice pass through the box, and it was easy pickings for Guillerme to get his 8th of the season. He came into tonight's game as the 3rd leading scorer in the MASL. And then the brilliant effort by Freddie Mugin, very creative, little back strike just inside the far post, but no question, it certainly looked on the replays that the ball did cross over the goal line. So that's where we stand through 30 minutes of play. It's the Florida Tropics 5 and the Orlando SeaWolves nothing, but we have lots of action and probably some fireworks left over the final 2 quarters. Back in just a moment.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642. Tropics 5, the Orlando SeaWolves nothing. Halftime here at the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida. And with apologies to Freddie Mugin, who's got 2 goals and an assist over the first 30 minutes. No question the man of the match tonight so far for the Tropics has been Hugo Silva, the goaltender signed in the offseason from the Harrisburg Heat. He has just come up big, and bigger over the first 30 minutes, literally and figuratively, as time and again he has just stoned the SeaWolves from in close, from distance, with his feet,
with his arms, with his body, any which way. Big save on Gerson. Probably his best sequence was right here against Lewis Neal, the save, and then the recovery and another save. Just tremendous work by Hugo Silva in goal for the Tropics over the first 30 minutes in this one. He was one of the best goaltenders in the MASL 2 years ago, with the 5th best overall goals against in the league. So no surprise here tonight for the Tropics that he has been the man of the match for at least the first 30 minutes. But 30 minutes still to go. Crazy things can happen. It's indoor soccer. Back with the second half in just a moment.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now, and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work toward getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
The Florida Tropics leading the Orlando SeaWolves here tonight at the RP Funding Center. A New Year's holiday special in the MASL, 5-0. As we take a look at the first half stats, the SeaWolves out shooting the Tropics 19-15, and they might have missed one or two from the SeaWolves because they were really attacking Hugo Silva, who was credited with 10 saves in those first 2 quarters. The SeaWolves had the only 2 power plays of that half. Of course, that controversial, well, I shouldn't say controversial, one that we missed behind the play with too many men when we thought the Tropics went up 5-0. But the only 2 power plays belonged to Orlando, basically back-to-back, and Florida able to kill both of them. So still now, through 5.5 games, the Tropics have not given up a power play goal this season. Well, we saw lots of action over the first 30 minutes. We expect plenty more of the same in the third and fourth quarter. We'll have it for you next from Lakeland. Stay tuned.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new pocket hose brass bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot pocket hose brass bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot jet nozzle free. Order now and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work towards getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
Just a couple of minutes away from kickoff here in Lakeland, Florida, between the Tropics and SeaWolves tonight. Kind of a busy night around the MASL, a game of particular interest because it's a South Central Division matchup, is over in St. Louis this evening. The Ambush and Comets meeting for the third time in as many games in the South Central for those two squads. And the Ambush have the early lead against Kansas City 1-0 as Antonio Manfoot scored 7 minutes into the first quarter on an assist from Gerger Gibson. So the Ambush looking for their third straight win over the Comets, which would be pretty big news. I think the fact that the Ambush have won the first two meetings this season with the Comets is a bit of a surprise. A 3-game sweep would be a big one. Chris, you're back, and the intrepid reporter that you are, what did you find out on that play?
Well, first of all, I'm winded from my So let me catch my
I wasn't going to mention that, but
no, Coach Clay Roberts confirmed the fact that the goal was in fact called back because we had too many men in the field, and he said that Freddie was on the field too early. So I stand corrected, Brian, and I don't say those words too often. So.
Yeah, both of us. Obviously, we were looking at the play in front of the Orlando goal and never saw what was going on below. Here's Gerson, shot and a goal. Just 23 seconds in, and Gordy Gerson buries one in the top corner. And just like that, Orlando perhaps hoping to see some better fortune here in the second half, gets on the board early.
You can't have much of a better start than that.
Again, though, lots of space for a guy like Gordy Gerson, who's one of the premier goal scorers in this league, to operate in the Orlando end.
Well,
I am quite certain.
I hope we don't get back into our old bugaboo here of, blowing big leads and making games closer than they should be. So
I'm quite certain that Clay Roberts had much to say at halftime about what they're doing defensively. So Sandoval has it. Leaves it off for Thiago, back to Sandoval. Being watched by Ricardo Diegues as the Tropics put 5 behind the ball in their own end. Gerson with it. Gets it to Rojas. As we said, it's not like Orlando didn't have a lot of good chances themselves in the first 2 quarters. Just unlucky and running up against Hugo Silva, who was brilliant. Ball sent out of play by Rojas. So yeah, this is one of those times Clay Roberts will talk about moments of fury in a game where you give up 1, that's all right, but what you don't want to do is give up 2 or 3 in a short period and really completely change the complexion of the game. Ruiz will have it out at midfield now.
Gets it back to Silva. Guilherme up front with Join Lately at the moment. Over to Monaleris, who will turn and sends it up to Lately. Ruiz trying to make a run here. Lately gets to the center of the field. That's where he wants to operate. Guilherme with it. Crosses the floor to Lucas Monaleris. No Lucas Teixeira tonight, if we didn't mention that. Here's Guilherme, thought about it from distance. Now fires and just misses by a foot, far post. Teixeira hurting the hip. Here's an intercept by Reyes with a shot, and that goes wide. Good idea by the veteran defender, J.P. Reyes. Lately got a piece of it, but went right to House. Here's the long outlet to Turner. Marangoni with a recovery whistle and a foul and a blue card coming against Marangoni. So Orlando will get its third power play of the night. The replay as Marangoni got up high. Not much of a touch, but it was up on the head. And as we mentioned in the first half, that's a place the officials will normally protect.
That's a good call.
So Marangoni will serve 2 minutes here. And once again, the Florida man down unit will be tested as Turner is up.
The law of averages, Brian, clearly.
Yeah.
You know, I mean.
Well, the law of averages might tell us that Florida will get a power play some point in the second half. But, yeah, the law of averages over 6 games or 5.5 games not giving up even one power play goal. That's pretty impressive. The unit out there is Max Touloud on top. Anthony Arrico, Lucas Monaleris, and Guilherme, who, as we said, played defense for the Tropics last year. Into the corner to Gerson. He and Arrico collide. No whistle. Gerson again down deep. Arrico chasing. Gerson gets it in front. Nice defensive positioning by Monaleris. Touloud with a little heady play off the boards. 1-on-2, tries to push it ahead. Intercepted by Sandoval, who gets it back to House. And here come the SeaWolves on the man advantage one more time. Had back-to-back power plays in the second quarter and could not convert. Here's Sandoval. Tried to get it down low to Neal, and Neal couldn't quite make the fancy play. It goes out of play, and the Tropics will get a kick in far side, 120 to go in the man advantage for Orlando.
You mentioned Lucas Teixeira. That's a huge loss for the Tropics. He dislocated his hip. You see Lucas almost every day in the office, and he said that it just came out of socket.
Yeah, it was a weird injury. Here's Pereira's. Lungs in to go! Yeah. Shorty for Victor Pereiras, and the Tropics get the Thunder right back and lead it 6-1.
You hate to say that it's a huge goal at 5-1, Brian, but it's a huge goal. I mean, St. Louis, Orlando had all the momentum coming. They had a power play to get one there. It's a brand new ball game. This could totally deflate them. You know, being a short-handed goal, making it 6-1 now, but a huge goal for the Tropics.
Yeah, completely agree. Orlando comes out and gets one in the first 30 seconds, gets a power play opportunity, could cut it to 5-2 and really turn the momentum their way, and almost out of nowhere, Pereiras from a little distance, House caught back on his line just a little too deep, and it's 6-1 Florida. Still a minute to go in the power play. Shot goes well wide by Thiago. Sandoval tried to set up Bowden in front, can't.
The numbers.
Here's Touloud. Touloud gets it ahead to Arrico, just a little too far from Anthony. Anthony in there, battles Anthony with a shot.
Yeah.
Goal! Another shorty for the Tropics. They lead it 7-1.
Well, if that doesn't deflate you, I don't know what will. Again, just all hustle. Max Touloud did a great play to get the ball up there, and Anthony Arrico never say die, just kept fighting for the ball, and finally his persistence paid off with an open net.
Yeah, that's just heart and hustle from Arrico, and a bad misplay by House. And Arrico, who looked like it for all the world, he had an open net goal last week and got denied on a great defensive play. Not denied here tonight. And the Tropics have 2 shorthanded goals on this man advantage for Orlando. They had 2 shorthanded goals all of last year, and both of them belonged to Anthony Arrico. So Arrico and Pereiras with the shorthanded goals. It's 7-1 Florida. Orlando still with 25 seconds on the power play. They might want to defer. Unbelievable.
Well, not only have they hopefully killed it off, they scored 2 goals on it.
Monaleris, or rather Pereiras clears it, or rather, now Pereiras with it. Pereiras with some space. Pereiras in, shot. Oh, and it hit the crossbar and came down right on the line. Brian Miller said it did not cross the line, and it was as close as it gets.
I don't know what the league record is for shorthanded goals on one penalty, but 3 would have to be some sort of record. If not two already.
Here's Marangoni, and he can't quite settle it, and he might have just damaged the hammy because he's hopping off the floor here. And that might mean more time for Berche and Dieguez, who have been spot shifting some. Nice defensive work by Guilherme. Intercept by Rojas, but now numbers again as Kyle Ruiz will come with it down the right side. Gerson trying to recover. Nice play by Gerson. Ruiz still battles, and it's knocked out of there. Somebody lost a shoe or an insert. Mujin with the pressure now. Rojas being watched by Lately. House clears the zone, but Guilherme intercepts. Orlando on a line change here. Mendoza with it. Mendoza watched by Elvis. Down in front, Elvis knocks it out of play. It'll be a corner kick for the Tropics, as a couple of Orlando players were making a run through the box there. So 2 shorthanded goals for the Tropics on the same power play opportunity for Orlando, and the Tropics still perfect on their penalty kill this year. Here's a chance in front, shot well wide by Moda. Another shot wide by Mendoza. Lately will come out of there with it. Lately tries to push it past. That was Moda, and then Lately with a little shove and the foul against Moda. Yeah, what a turn of events there for Florida.
Yeah, as I mentioned, I mean, that could have been the turning point.
Yeah, either way.
Either way,
I mean, in indoor soccer, 3 goals is nothing, especially when you have the momentum like Orlando could have seized there. Here's a chance in front, knocked out of there by Elvis. Mendoza keeps it alive. Gets it over to Alvarez now. Alvarez being watched by Ruiz. Near side to Cruz. Lately on him. In front. Good marking in there by Elvis. Didn't let Luis Moda turn and get a shot away. Alvarez will pick it up, though. Ruiz will watch him. Inlet pass to Moda, who will bring it back out over the yellow line as the SeaWolves will reset now. Cruz with it. Back over to Alvarez. Nobody there for the SeaWolves. Finally, Cruz tracks it down as Dieguez almost had a takeaway. Ricardo robbed by House in the first half tonight. His first game back after sports hernia surgery. Playing kind of a spot shift. If Marangoni isn't able to go, though, here in the second half after he hobbled off, looked like with a little hamstring issue, maybe just a cramp, we'll see. Alvarez with it. Lately on him. Good work by Lately. It will go off Reyes, and it'll be a corner kick here for the SeaWolves.
It's good to see Ralph Alves having a strong game tonight. You know, that's more the imposing figure that we expected to see all year long.
Yeah, he's been fighting through a toe issue, which is, as we mentioned last week, it doesn't sound like a big deal, except if you're a soccer player. A toe issue is kind of like a pitcher having a blister
on your finger.
Yeah, exactly. And it doesn't sound like a big deal, but it can be a big problem. So, yeah, he's had a solid effort here tonight, no question. Coming up to the midway point of the third quarter here as Silva is able to easily collect the long ball into the Florida zone. Looks for Berche, who was down there in the Orlando third, but the SeaWolves will control it. Berche with pressure on House. Arico being challenged now by Turner. Good play by Arico to come up out of there with it to Touloute. Touloute with it. Touloute, nice little move. Touloute to the center of the field. Gets it over to Berche now. Berche with that big left foot, and that's blocked, and it will go out of play, and it'll be a corner kick.
Max Touloute's had a hell of a game tonight.
He really quietly has had.
Very unselfish.
Just a settling influence out there. Just plays under control, uses his veteran knowledge, and he really has been quietly one of the better players on the floor here tonight. There's the goal by Arico as he outbattles House. It's 7-1 Orlando, Florida, back in a moment.
So you've decided to go to college. That's cool. So pop quiz, which is a better way to earn your degree? Commute to college and fill your gas tank, get stuck in traffic, drive in bad weather, try to find a parking space, walk a half mile to class, or learn online at Independence University. In the park on a bench, on the beach on a towel, or on your couch with your kid. Your campus is wherever you want it to be. You don't go to college. College goes to you. That's independence. That's Independence University. You schedule classes around your schedule, and all your supplies, including a brand new laptop and tablet, are included with tuition. At Independence U, you'll learn from professional instructors with real work experience. You'll get personal support in school and employment assistance when you graduate. Get your degree, but keep your life. That's independence. That's Independence University. So if you're really smart, you'd call now.
Call 1-800-343-7292.
Independence U, for an independent you.
Call 1-800-343-7292.
Well, it's been all Tropics here in the second half after the SeaWolves quick goal to start the third quarter. Two shorthanded efforts, one by Anthony Arrico, who is kind of a shorthanded specialist, and the other by Victor Pereiras. The Tropics hit the road next weekend, a doubleheader out in the Midwest in St. Louis Saturday, Kansas City Sunday, and then back here for a 3-game homestand in Lakeland against Orlando. Here's a shot, good block in there by Gerson as Guilherme had that extra little touch off the restart, and Guilherme did not bite. So it'll be Orlando back here on January 12th as Toulouse is challenged and will keep possession. Gerson in there, and he'll get it back to Silva, who gets it nicely up to Pereiras. Numbers here for the Tropics if they hurry. Long ball into Guilherme off the boards, and a nice recovery in there by the SeaWolves. And there, boy, that's hard collision on Pereiras and a whistle, but no blue card. Pereiras a little shaken up. We'll see that challenge here. Well, yeah, that could have been a blue card pretty easily, given what we've seen here tonight. Osvaldo Rojas, fortunate perhaps just to get the foul called. That was a pretty toasty challenge, but not overly aggressive. Here's Guilherme in the corner, shot off the boards, takes a funny bounce, goes over to Monaleras, and Monaleras will lose it. Pereiras with it, and Pereiras with a pretty move. He'll set up in the Orlando zone. Pereiras into the corner.
That's got to be a blue card.
That's got to be a blue card.
He didn't even call a foul.
Come on. Holy cow. Brian Miller had his hand in the pocket, and Manny Ortiz on the far side just said play on.
You gotta be kidding me.
Well, it sure looked like contact, but
you and I are on the same page.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, that one looked like one, but here's Guilherme, but a little light on the pass from Toulouse that time. Of course, Max lost an assist on that phantom fifth goal on that pretty pass that we thought was a goal.
Well, the player didn't argue that much, so maybe we're wrong. I don't know. They just looked worse than it actually was.
Yeah, maybe. Toulouse with it, double teamed in there. Toulouse has it taken away, and now Dieguez with a chance. Dieguez with a breakaway opportunity. Here's Dieguez shot. Goal!
Yeah.
Hey, you might not want to pile on two guys too hard here. Ricardo back from hernia surgery just 3 weeks ago, and he slots one past House for an 8-1 Tropics lead. They're pouring it on now.
Good for Ricky. You know, he's worked hard to get back quickly, and you know what? He's a good person. Leading scorer the last couple of years, so it's nice to see him finish one like that and come back in style like he has.
Wasn't really sure he was going to play tonight at all, to be honest. Was listed as doubtful on the injury report. As we said, he has been training for about a week and a half. He came back last week and did train with the team on the floor, but was kind of at half speed and had the special "Do Not Touch Me" jersey on. This week he really ramped things up, and his first of the season. He had 28 last year to lead the Tropics, as you mentioned, Chris.
Well, hopefully the first of many this year.
Well, let's hope the frustration factor here for Orlando doesn't get too high. Silva comes out. Schmerman on the intercept. It'll be back to Silva, who does a nice job controlling it, and they're going to say Hugo did something that he shouldn't have, and they're going to get a restart at the top of the arc here.
Well, I'll tell you, have we gotten one call tonight? I hate to be a homer, but
Hugo trapped it with his chest outside the box, knocked it to himself inside the box, and then picked it up, and, well, we'll see. Sandoval was going to call a timeout with 5:01 to go. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to call on that one. And I got to admit, I'm not an MASL rules expert on some of the nuances. So there was no question in Brian Miller's mind it was an infraction, and maybe Hugo wasn't aware if it was one either. So for Orlando, who got their first ever win a week ago at home against Mississauga, they will be back in action not until January 12th, right back here, as we mentioned, in Lakeland. And then a couple of games at home, a Martin Luther King Day special against the Milwaukee Wave, and then at home on Friday, January 25th against the Ambush, before hitting the road. A tough game up at Utica City to end the month of January, and they start on the road on a February 2nd trip to St. Louis to meet the Ambush. So Tom Traxler, I'm not sure if he's got any 7-point plays in the scorebook there or the playbook, but that's the task for his SeaWolves at the moment. Down 8-1 with just over 5 minutes to go here in the third quarter. They maybe can get one back here on the set piece from the top of the arc. Max Toulouse, the fifth player rather, out for the Tropics, and he'll be one of the players in the wall. Sandoval perhaps will be the trigger man. He'll lay it off to Gerson, who didn't get a good strike on it, and Guillerme got in the way anyway. Here's a header wide. Gerson with a rebound. Gerson in front, and Toulouse takes it off the line. Great defensive play by Toulouse. Known more as a goal scorer, but being asked to be defensive tonight. Here's Berche with a shot. That goes wide. Sandoval heads it into the midfield area, and Schmerman picks it up now. Well, Clay Roberts, one of the things he challenged his team before the game tonight was to create a minimum of 30 good scoring opportunities. That's basically one every 2 minutes. And I'll tell you, the Tropics are probably on pace for that tonight. He always talks about 20 to 30 good scoring chances a game. He wanted 30 tonight, and I think he's got them. Here's J.P. Reyes with some room to operate. Down to Freddie. Freddie will play it back out, and the Tropics will reset the offense here. Alves. Now to Anthony Arico, had one of the two shorthanded goals here. I'll have to check back in the Tropics record book, but I almost think in the first season they had two shorthanded goals on the same penalty against Kansas City that season.
Really?
Yep, okay. I think so, but I'm going to double check it. Here's a shot, but Guillerme didn't get a lot on it. Arico with the rebound. Arico off the boards in front. Nobody there. Guillerme with a shot and a good block by Richard Schmerman. Clay Roberts in his third season behind the bench for the Tropics. Of course, the head coach at nearby Southeastern University for the Fire. Arico battling house there. Really knows the indoor game well. And funny story about Clay, actually was scheduled to play with the, not scheduled, but was drafted by the Orlando Sharks of the MISL in the one season that the Sharks actually played back more than a decade ago. And he didn't report, did not want to play in Orlando, and ultimately the Sharks released him, and he re-signed in Philadelphia where he had been playing, and went on that year to win a championship with the Kicks. So,
well, I think it was a wise decision.
Yeah,
on
probably on a lot of fronts.
Yeah.
If I recall, the Sharks lost their first 16 games of the year that season. It was really a franchise that never had much of a chance to succeed at all and only lasted the one season.
Yeah.
And Clay probably saw what was developing there, yeah. And stood his ground and eventually re-signed with the Kicks and won a title. So his indoor career could have had a bigger Orlando connection than it turned out to be, but for a brief time at least, he was on paper a member of the Orlando Sharks. House with the cover up, and outlet. Now a deep pass into the Orlando zone. Shot, and that gets through. And finally the Tropics burned as Osvaldo Rojas gets behind the Florida defense and makes it an 8-2 game. I don't
understand how that happens. I don't,
As often as it has tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think part of it is the fact that the Tropics clearly wanted to be aggressive offensively tonight, and as we said, create a lot of those chances. And sometimes, as we said, the old indoor soccer analogy is you'll give up one to score two, and despite all the chances that Orlando has, only the second goal of the night belongs to Rojas. Silva will gently bring it over the yellow line, looks for Mujin. Here's Laidley in front, but House gets there first. Good idea by Joanne, but couldn't quite beat Heiner to the ball. Laidley with pressure on Alvarez and a whistle and a foul. It's a nice moment of sportsmanship right at the end of the half that I know folks didn't see. I got a chance to see going off the field both Freddie Mujin and Gordy Gerson, who were involved in that late goal that Freddie scored and Orlando was very upset about, with a nice little embrace and handshake as they walked off the field to acknowledge no hard feelings personally either way on that situation. And it was nice to see both Freddie and Gordy, who can be a pretty big agitator. He's one of the best goal scorers in the league. He's also one of the better. He's one of those guys that you love him if he's on your side, and if he's not, he's a real pain in the you-know-what. But got to admire his great offensive skills and defensive, too. He gets back, and he's not a cherry picker. Plays with a great intensity, and he is fun to watch, but really a guy that's easy to root against if you're playing against him. But if he's on your side, you would take 15 of Gordy Gerson's for sure. Bowden with it. On top to Rojas. Turner can't control. Montoleras on the steal. Pereira's can't get by Cruz. Here's a shot from distance blocked in there by Berche. Little flick over to Diegues now, and Diegues will control, being watched by Rojas. Whistle and a foul against Rojas as Diegues is taken down. Final minute of play here in the third, 8-2 Florida. The Tropics looking to improve to 3-3. The SeaWolves looking to avoid their third loss of the season. They were in tough early against Baltimore, their second loss. They opened the season, all three of those games that Orlando played were at home at the Silver Spurs. So St. Louis spoiling their home debut early in December, and then the pretty good effort against the Blast. Fell, I think, 4-1 the final in that one. Turner gets it to Bowden. Here's a chance from Turner, and he misses short side. Drew Groff, number 97, out for the SeaWolves. I think maybe his first shift of the game. Don't remember seeing him. And now Gerson will come on because a restart chance again here from the top of the arc for Orlando.
Fans, you want some defense right about now?
Here's a shot and a goal. Tropics were never really set defensively. They actually had 4 men on the wall, which you really don't normally see. Now we have a whistle and a yellow card. Yeah, I think the goal's going to count. I think it was after the goal, and it was a dissent probably by Sandoval for something, but the goal, I believe, will stand. It was a post-goal foul, but the Tropics, their own worst enemy there, you can kind of see on the replay, they were not positioned where they thought they should be. Because at one time they had a 4-man wall, and then one of the players, I think it was Toulouse, kind of peeled off and was in no man's land himself.
Orlando starts the period with a goal and finishes the period with a goal.
Yeah, looks that way. Just 4.5 seconds to play. So the SeaWolves make it an 8-3 game and perhaps give themselves a little bit of life heading into the fourth quarter. As we said, this is indoor soccer. Crazy things can happen. Tropics, I'm sure, will just look to run out the clock here and protect a 5-goal lead heading into the final 15 minutes as Silva just clears it into the Orlando end. So 3 in the books, 1 to go here in Lakeland tonight. A couple of shorthanded goals for the Tropics in that third quarter. The first on the shot by Victor Pereras, and then Anthony Arrico with his hustle goal, knocking it into the empty net. Orlando gets too late. It's 8-3 Florida. Back in a moment.
The fabric in this bulletproof vest is so strong, it can stop a speeding bullet. And this biaxial braid fabric is so strong, we decided to build a hose out of it. And here it is, the brand new Pocket Hose Brass Bullet. So incredibly strong, it can stop these trucks dead in their tracks. Just turn on the water and watch the brass bullet inflate and expand to a full-size super hose. Then when you're done, turn off the water and it shrinks back down to a lightweight pocket hose. This new brass bullet hose will never tangle or kink. Never! Get the incredible 25-foot Pocket Hose Brass Bullet today for only $19.99. And you'll also get the Turbo Shot Jet Nozzle free. Order now, and you can double your order. Just pay a separate fee. Toss the old hoses away and grab a brass bullet hose today.
Call 1-800-355-7430 to get your brass bullet hose. Call or visit brassbullethose.com. So call 1-800-355-7430. Order now.
Have you been denied credit or hit with high interest rates? A low credit score happens to many of us, especially if you've struggled with medical bills, divorce, student loans, job loss, and more. And millions of people are victims of incorrect items on their credit reports and don't even know it. This leads to a lower credit score. That's why you need Credit Repair now. We'll communicate with your creditors and the credit bureaus to address unfairly reported items, late payments, collections, charge-offs, and even bankruptcies. And that can lead to a higher credit score. Our proven process has resulted in past clients seeing on average 11 negative items removed from their credit report and a 40-point increase after the first 4 months in our program. Start working on your credit today. Call now to start repairing your credit score so that you can work towards getting the things you want, like a new car, new home, an education, or new job. Plus, call now and request your credit report and credit score for free in minutes.
Call 1-800-776-1642. That's 1-800-776-1642.
Well, it's a 5-goal lead for the Tropics, but very few leads are safe in the indoor game, and Orlando knows that. The Tropics know that. Victor Pereras with a couple of goals tonight, his 3rd and 4th of the season, including that shorthanded effort in the third quarter. Lots of action around the league tonight, and it looks like some barn burners not only here in Florida, but in the Midwest as well. The St. Louis Ambush jumping out to a 2-0 lead against Kansas City, but the Comets have rallied for 3 to take a 3-2 lead, and they are also putting it in the back of the net in Turlock tonight. The Ontario Fury leading the Turlock Express 3-2, and just a little bit from now, the Dallas Sidekicks and El Paso Coyotes will get it on. Here's Ruiz in there, and Silva will dive out to break up that scoring chances. Gerson was lurking dangerously close to that loose ball. Long outlet headed by Schmerman. Monolaris will try and get it to Mugin, but an intercept by Cruz. Now down to Rojas. Rojas will lose that battle to Silva as Guillerme comes out of there. Guillerme taken down. And he'll head to the Florida bench here, I think, for a change. A little bit of a shove from behind. Ladley with it. Ladley loses his footing, now gets it back, tries to tee it up, can't, as Gerson gets in the way. Now Diegues with it. Diegues to Ladley. Out there with Ruiz up front now. Monolaris and Arrico on the defense. Here's Ruiz. Ruiz with a nifty little move on the far boards. In front, Diegues almost with a redirect, and Schmerman got a foot in it just in the nick of time. Now Diegues with a steal as Arrico makes a chip towards goal, and House is able to handle that one.
I didn't see Schmerman behind me there. I thought he was all holding front.
House with it, gets it to Schmerman. He was teammates with Dylan Hundelt in St. Louis. It was Hundelt that was traded away for Thiago to the Heat this past week, a pretty good player in his own right. The Heat wanting to improve their look defensively, and the
SeaWolves wanting to get a little more creative offensively. So the two clubs pulled the trigger on that deal.
I heard that Freitas was not in Pat Healy's good graces, let's say.
Well, Pat Healy will get things straightened around in Harrisburg, no question. But Thiago, a pretty good playmaker. He was third in the entire MASL last year in assists. So a couple of talented players switching uniforms. But yeah, Pat and Kevin Healy will find a way to get it done and find players that will get it done for them, or they won't be on the Heat roster very long, no question. Schmerman will put it back in play here for the SeaWolves. They're chasing 5 with 12.5 to go.
At what point do you pull the goalie?
Yeah, wondered about that. Maybe in the near future, a whistle behind the play. I think Arico may have been whistled for the challenge there on House. Yep, got a little bit of House's leg. It's kind of like a 5-yard roughing the kicker penalty. Wasn't the big infraction, but enough to draw the whistle. That one will be well played by Silva off the boards. Underappreciated skill of Hugo Silva is his ability to control balls like that, rebounds off the boards, not allow second chances. He is really, really good at that, among other things.
And his distribution is so much.
Yeah, that's a weapon.
Yeah.
He's already got 2 assists this year. Chance now here for the SeaWolves. There's a shot off the boards in front. Neal makes a run, and he can't get good contact. Lately got back there, maybe disrupted him just enough. Arico looks for help. Gets it up to Lately.
Numbers here.
Tropics if they hurry. Ahead to Berche. Looks for Mugin off the boards. Mugin with a trap, but Orlando is able to get back. That would have been better just for Juan to use his speed right there and make the penetration into the offensive zone himself, I think. He's got the second best wheels on the club behind Marangoni.
Haven't seen him back on the field since his
have not, yeah. Didn't think we probably would and have not, so hopefully it's not too serious.
Those things just linger, Brian. They linger.
Yeah, that's a tough injury for a soccer player. You get a quad, you get a hamstring, you get something like that in the leg that there's not much you can do. Just give it the proper time to rest. Pereiras. He's got Mugin with him in front. Good save by House. I think he surprised everybody in the house. Pereiras did by pulling the trigger on from a fairly tough angle, and House was equal to the task.
Similar to the goal he scored on it, the opposite end a little bit.
Yep.
Sharp angle.
Yep, Pereiras very good with those sharp angle shots. Monolaris on Baden, and Tropics will win that battle. Time is the biggest friend the Tropics have right now. Intercepted by Schmerman, but J.P. Reyes will take it right back. A little bit of a hold there, yep. It's all right, play on, say the officials. Tropics with the possession still. Things have not gotten quite as chippy as I thought they might here in the fourth, so that's good news. Reyes with it now. He'll lay it off to Pereiras on the other side of the field. Schmerman with a takedown. That was a little strong, but no penalty. And the reason you kind of cringe on those is those are the kinds you can get injuries on.
Exactly.
It was really, Schmerman just kind of threw himself at Pereiras' legs and did draw the whistle. Diegas with it. Now Arico will settle over to Ruiz. Ruiz will play it back to Monolaris, and now the long ball down to Ricardo. Lately will pick it up at the midfield circle. Tropics record, by the way, for most goals in a game is 12. They've done that twice, once last year, once in their first season. Here's Diegas to Ruiz. Good defensive positioning by Rojas, knocks it out of play. It'll be a kick in Florida. Inside 10 minutes to go now. Tropics would improve to 3-3. St. Louis right now in second place in the division at 3-2, depending the outcome of their game in Kansas City.
Shot by Montoleros goes high, stays in play though, and Silva will track it down. Florida will change, send out Freddie Mugin as Ricardo Dieguez heads to the bench. Nice defensive intercept by the SeaWolves, but they give it right back as Reyes gets it to Ruiz and not a Lately, and right back to J.P. Reyes, who also played for the Orlando Sharks in their one season. Of course, a native of Orlando. Had a really nice interview on the MASL podcast that you can find online. Mark Litton, one of the assistant coaches in St. Louis, does about a half-hour interview with a player or someone from indoor soccer every week, and JP was the featured guest a few weeks ago. So if you get a chance, a really nice interview with JP Reyes talking about his time in the game and his family and his work off the field. Here's Mugin off to Guillerme, shot, and a good block by Schmerman. Pressure by Mugin, looking for the hat trick here tonight.
Well, you would think next time out, Orlando might want to think about pulling the goalie here, Brian.
Yeah, they haven't done it yet. Tom Trexler looks like he's got the sixth attacker jersey in his hand, but doesn't have anybody on the bench wearing one that I can see at the moment. So, of course, Peter Sliwa on the bench, not only the backup goaltender when he's healthy, well, he's probably a co-starter, if you will, with House, but I know Traxler talked a lot in the preseason about relying on Sliwa to help learn the indoor game. Of course, Peter, a veteran of 4 years in the league, 2 with Florida. Montoleros on the defensive play. Now Gerson in front. He bangs one off the far post. Guillerme tries to use the boards to get by Groff. Can't do it. Duke Groff sets up Gerson at the top of the arc. Left-footed shot. Great save, Silva. Boy, that was a good one. Still the man of the match for me as far as I'm concerned tonight.
Absolutely.
Guillerme tries to get it out of play.
Could be a very different
opportunity
game.
Here, and again Silva on the shot by Alvarez. Not that hard to save that time, but he has made plenty of them so far. And we have reached the midway point here of the quarter. We have got an injured player on the near boards here. Don't know who it is, but we will find out when we return from a break. It's the Tropics 8, Orlando 3, back with more MASL soccer in a moment. Tropics have 6 minutes and 51 seconds to go until what would be their third win of the season in 6 starts. You see Milwaukee still perfect so far. They've only played 3 games. A win tonight by the Tropics would improve their lot at least a little bit, depending on the St. Louis-Kansas City outcome. The Ambush coming into action tonight 3-2. Orlando would fall to 1-3 with the loss. And Kansas City at 1-4, as we said, kind of a big surprise. The Comets with a pretty good roster and a pretty good coach, and they will win their share of games, and they have extended their lead over St. Louis now to 4-2 in the first half out at the Family Arena in St. Charles, Missouri tonight. So we will keep an eye on that. Very possible, perhaps, that both the Ambush and Tropics would be tied for that second spot at 3-3, and as we said, the Kansas City Comets will be coming in probably in a hurry. So The Tropics will now face a sixth attacker as Tom Traxler has made that decision now inside 7 minutes to go. Tropics have not fared all that well, quite honestly, with the sixth attacker out there, so we'll see how it goes. They gave up 3 sixth attacker goals twice this season in games. Gerson with it. Gerson tries to get it through the box, and Silva has it deflected by Silva. Hugo with a long outlet didn't
I wonder why that is, Brian. If they've done so well with the shorthanded.
Right, yeah, that is a good point. Just been one of those bugaboos. Here's Pereiras. Pereiras off the boards to himself, still with it, and couldn't quite pull the trigger from half court with the open goal. Good defensive work by Lewis Neal and Thiago to deny Pereiras a chance for a second goal here. Inside 6 now to play. Turner with it. There's a long shot blocked by Guilherme, and they will call a handball against the Brazilian defender. Talking about Gordy Gerson and his scoring prowess. He's played 86 games in the Major Arena Soccer League and has 135 goals. Here's a shot and a great save again by Silva, and then a rebound goal. Stopped the first shot by Gerson. And then we'll see who it was. I believe it was Osvaldo Rojas who collected the rebound, one of the rare loose balls that Silva will give up. He's a little upset at himself, but that was a rocket by Gerson, who will get the assist, and Silva a little hard on himself for not being able to make that rebound. It was a foot save by Silva to begin with, and a good one at that, and just too much traffic in front of Silva to give up what is now the SeaWolves' 4th goal of the game.
And here we go again, Brian. 8-1, and all of a sudden it's 8-4. I mean,
not nervous yet, but the palms could be a little sweaty here if Orlando gets another one in the next minute or so, and they will pressure all over the field now to try and do just that. Reyes being watched by Bowden, and a whistle and a foul against Bowden. Yeah, you walk a fine line in these situations. You don't want to be overly aggressive, but you don't want to just melt back into a prevent defense, because there's too many good shooters on this Orlando team, even from distance, to do something like that. Certainly you want to sag in the middle of the field and into your box and get men behind the ball, but you don't want to miss scoring chances as well. Here's Mugen. Mugen with it. Long shot right on, and House makes an easy save, short side. House will head to the bench now. 6th attacker on for the SeaWolves. Here's a steal by Pereiras over to Guilherme. Guilherme decides not to pull the trigger from distance without a goaltender in there. One of the SeaWolves defenders was back on the line, but he couldn't have used his hands. He was not the 6th attacker. Here's Mugen. Only the 6th attacker in the box can use his hands. A whistle and a foul against the SeaWolves as Mugen was taken down hard, and now I don't think this is a blue card. It's going to be a yellow card for dissent, so there'll be no power play for the Tropics, but Orlando is going to lose a player for.
What good? I mean, I don't understand that.
Well, it's a penalty for conduct individually against the player.
Yeah, but you're not hurting the team. You know, it should be like a 2-minute minor in hockey where unsportsmanlike conduct, it cost you 2 minutes.
Well, Edwin Rojas will sit the rest of this one out in the sin bin, as there's only 4:32 to go unless we go to overtime. Still not completely out of the question.
Just going back to my hockey roots, Brian. Sorry.
Yeah. Understood. Here's Pereiras' long shot, and that's knocked out of there. Reyes with a chance, and Schmerman steps in front. 3-goal lead, 4:26 to play.
Cheddar's Scratch Kitchen has been serving freshly made amazing food since 1979. Visit us on Southfield Avenue in Lakeland for the freshest ribs, chicken, burgers.
Yeah, I believe it's actually 8-4, right?
That's what I thought.
Yeah, the scoreboard has 8-5, but yeah, it should be 8-4.
I was beginning to doubt myself here. So, oh my God, we get another one here.
Yeah, no, it was Rojas' goal at 9:29 that made it 8-4. And that's where we stand, even though the scoreboard has 8-5.
You would expect that in a visiting team.
Yeah, right.
You know, on the road, not at home.
We'll be inside 4 minutes now. Orlando with possession in the Tropics end in front. Guillerme will try and get it out of there, but J.P. Reyes will to Toulouse. Toulouse has Pereiras ahead of the field. Victor with it and takes a bad hop over the boards. No.
Yeah. It is 8-4.
Yeah, we've got it right on the television screen. They don't have it right on the scoreboard here in the arena. Of course, there's been goals and non-goals, and so not going to be too harsh on the scoreboard operator either here tonight. Here's Thiago with it. Turner bangs it back out to the yellow line. Long shot. That one just misses far post. Rebound for Gerson. Blocked by Monaleris. Goes out of play. Kick in Orlando.
Has Gerson been off the floor tonight at all?
Doesn't seem like it. And the thing about him, he's so good at both ends. I mean, you know, you think as good a goal scorer as he is.
That he would cheat, and he doesn't.
Yeah, and he does not. He is an honest effort, 100%.
He works
both ends of the floor, yep.
Yeah. Give him credit. Good player.
One of the 6 Cedar Rapids players that the SeaWolves signed in the offseason when the SeaWolves were brought to life. Here's Gerson with a shot, and I think Silva got a piece of that with his leg on the deflection. Another big save by Hugo Silva. Gerson from about 45 feet. Monalera steps in front. Here's Toulouse. Toulouse with it. Needs some help. Still with possession and plays it back to Silva off the boards. Gets it out to Arico. Arico to Pereiras. Pereiras over to Monaleris. Monaleris with some space. Shot.
No, see.
Yeah, why would you pull the trigger from 50 feet on that?
That's one of my pet peeves. You hold the ball. You don't need any more goals here. You hold the ball and kill time. Or at least pass the ball. I mean, you don't. No.
Yeah, not the best decision there.
No.
Not going to probably matter in the outcome, but another night, another game, and
it's the mindset.
Perhaps,
you know?
right, perhaps the decision would be different. Monaleris on the challenge here. I mean, if you're going to shoot, you might as well walk in and do it from 20 or 25 feet, not 50 to begin with. But your point is even better, and that is no reason to even shoot at all.
No. Let's kill the clock.
Monaleris with a good defensive play there, and Toulouse able to clear the zone. Can we break out the Na Na Hey Hey Kiss and Goodbye song, Chris? I know that's one of your favorites.
It's one of my favorites. Yeah, I think it's pretty safe right now.
There's Turner at the spot and a goal.
You see?
1:43 left.
Now it's 5.
Now it's 5.
Well, according to the scoreboard, it's 6. But
yeah, it's 5.
Yeah.
So,
you know, you got to give Orlando a lot of credit.
Yeah.
You know, they have not rolled over and died. They've come back.
That's 4 straight.
You know, and it's the same old thing every game. I hate to say that, but I mean, it happens every game.
It has been a bugaboo for the Tropics. They do not play particularly well with big leads. And I don't think Orlando's going to have enough time to come all the way back here.
But still, I mean, you need to, you know, we have to learn how to win, Brian. You know, when you have teams down, you put them down. You don't let them back into games.
Ruiz will play it back out to Monaleris, who looks for Laidley in the corner. Laidley's taken down hard.
If that's out of blue, okay. Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just me, Brian. I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
Cruz had his leg up pretty high there, but it'll be a foul and not a blue card.
He gives Montalleris a blue card for just, you know, swiping at somebody. That studs up. Okay.
Orlando has not been blue carded tonight. The Tropics have been blue carded 3 times. 1:22 to go. Mujin will get it back out to Monaleris as the Tropics should play a little possession here to Silva. Pressured by Mendoza to Toulouse.
No, I don't want to diminish. I mean, we've had an excellent game tonight. I mean, we've played really, really well.
Toulouse over to Monaleris.
But again, it's a little bit frustrating to see these leads evaporate.
Up to Mujin. To Ruiz. Ruiz thinking about the shot, and House makes the save, and it'll be a corner kick for Florida with 54.7 seconds to go.
But yeah, you want to learn lessons, and I'm quite certain in the next video review session that will be a point of discussion with Clay Roberts as House makes the save. Restart, and Freddie will make the veteran play out to Max Twilut. Montalera's taken down. Whistle and a foul.
I mean, and this will be our third win this year. In all 3 wins, you've seen a similar pattern. St. Louis came back. No, not that it was, you know.
Yeah, St. Louis, they had a 6-0 lead.
Back.
Harrisburg, they had a 7-2 lead, and the Heat made it 7-5 with 3 6th attacker goals. Here it was 8-1, so the SeaWolves have scored the last 4. Sometimes a little hard to play with a really big lead. Here's Montalera's with a shot. Wholesale changes here for both sides. You do tend to change your style of play a little bit when you're up that big, and maybe that's a little bit of the lesson that you.
It's human nature, you know. I mean, you're seeing 8-1, and you're thinking, okay, it's, you know, for the most part it has been, but still, you know, you need to have, you know.
Yeah, there are decisions that could be made that would be better suited. Here's another chance and another goal with 28 seconds to go. The final score is not going to look nearly as impressive as it once did, as Rojas gets the SeaWolves 6th with 28 seconds to go. 5 unanswered now for Orlando. Just a scrum in front, and Rojas was the beneficiary of picking up that loose ball. The one that I feel worst about is Silva, because his stat line isn't going to look nearly as impressive as he's been.
He stole my first man of the match.
Here's Reyes, intercepted by Guilherme to Twilut. Twilut back to Guilherme. Pereiras with it. Pereiras to Twilut. Twilut with a shot. Good save. Twilut with a rebound. He can't get it through. In front, Pereiras! And a goal! And it will count, or it should count. There was about 0.4 seconds on the clock. So the Tropics do get one very late. And we'll make it a final of 9-6 here tonight. And this New Year's crowd will go home happy with the final. They may play out the last couple of tenths of a second, but there was about 4/10 of a second on the clock when that ball went in. And the Tropics fans and their players get one more chance to celebrate. A 9-6 scoreline here tonight, and the Tropics will improve to 3-3 as the final seconds tick away, and it is officially in the books here at the RP Funding Center tonight. The Florida Tropics win it by a final score of 9-6. A wild and woolly finish as Cordy Gerson and Victor Pereiras embrace Montalera's and Gerson as the two teams show some nice sportsmanship. Here's Victor Pereiras with his goal tonight that got things going early, and then the shorthanded one. A great shot just inside the post as we take a look from behind the house on that one. Victor stepping up big for the Tropics tonight. Guilherme got his 8th. Just a nice effort overall, and as we said, Hugo Silva, really a very impressive performance tonight. Anthony Arrico with a nice effort. We always see that from Anthony, as again that hustle goal, shorthanded, taking it away from House and banging it into the open goal. That's a vintage Anthony Arrico score with his effort to get to that loose ball, and it was a big goal at the time, as we said, those two shorthanded goals when it looked like Orlando might steal some momentum back very early in the third quarter with their early goal and then the power play. Hugo Silva, though, just big all night long. A very nice effort for the Tropics goaltender, who the stat line, as we said, Chris, won't look quite as impressive as it should, but he was maybe the man of the match for Florida tonight.
Number one in my book, to be honest with you, Brian. You know, and I hate to state, stats are for losers. You know, I've never been a big stat person. I've done a lot of contracts in my life, and I never once would put an individual bonus in for a player based upon stats. Team stats, yes, but individual things. But I give Hugo a lot of credit. I mean, again, that should have been a 1 or 2 goal game, GAA for him tonight. But again, no fault of his own. But he had a tremendous game, and I think we would have had a totally different outcome tonight if it wasn't for Hugo Silva.
Yeah, nice effort though all the way around, even though the late onslaught by the Orlando SeaWolves not enough. Victor Pereira's with a hat trick, one of his 3 right there, and a big offensive night for the Tropics. A nice effort by Hugo Silva, and everyone goes home happy in Lakeland, at least the Tropics fans here tonight. I know there were some SeaWolves fans here as well, as the rivalry has begun, and round 1 goes to the Florida Tropics by a final score of 9-6. Have a great holiday, everyone. We'll talk to you on January 12th. Good night.